The morning sunlight filtered through the windows at Giovani's, casting long shadows across our family's usual Sunday brunch table. I sat quietly, cutting my pancakes, while my brother Marcus gestured wildly with his fork, launching into his familiar routine about my supposed failures and his superior business acumen. "I'm telling you, Amy, that coffee shop is wasted on you," Marcus declared, his voice carrying across the dining room. "You're just an employee there. When are you going to admit you're not cut out for business ownership?" Mom nodded approvingly from across the table, dabbing her lips with her napkin. "Marcus has the MBA, sweetheart. He understands these things better than you do." Dad remained focused on his eggs Benedict, grunting in agreement whenever Marcus hit a particularly emphatic point about market positioning or profit optimization. This conversation had become as routine as our Sunday brunches themselves. "The location is prime real estate," Marcus continued, warming to his favorite topic. "Corner unit, high foot traffic, established customer base. But you're just working there like an employee. It's embarrassing for the family." I sipped my orange juice and let him talk. Marcus had been building toward this moment for months. Ever since he graduated with his business degree and moved back home, he'd walked past been there, done that every few days, peering through the windows, taking photos of the customer lines, making notes on his phone about what he called optimization opportunities. "Your sister works very hard at that coffee shop," Mom said, though her tone suggested she agreed with Marcus. "But he's right about the business side. You've always been more of a helper type, Amy, not a leader." The familiar sting of dismissal washed over me, but I let it pass. I was 28 years old, and this dynamic had been set since I was 16. Marcus, the golden child with his achievements and proclamations. Amy, the quiet daughter who worked with her hands and kept her head down. "I've been researching the financials," Marcus announced, pulling out his phone. "That strip mall is probably worth $2 million, maybe more. And that corner unit must be pulling in 20,000 a month during peak season." Dad finally looked up from his plate. "That much, easily. Maybe more. Amy probably doesn't even realize what she's sitting on." Marcus leaned forward, his eyes bright with entrepreneurial hunger. "The owner is probably some investment group that doesn't understand local market dynamics. Amy, you should introduce me to whoever runs that place. I could negotiate a better lease, maybe even a purchase agreement." I set down my fork and looked at him. "I don't think the owner is interested in selling." "You don't know that. You're not thinking like a businessman. Everything is for sale at the right price." He waved his hand dismissively. "The key is understanding leverage and market positioning." Our server approached with the coffee pot, topping off cups. Around us, the restaurant hummed with the peaceful rhythm of families lingering over breakfast. At our table, tension coiled tighter. "Marcus has a point, honey," Mom said gently. "You've been working there 2 years now. If you're not moving up to management or ownership, maybe it's time to consider other opportunities." "I like working there." "You're limiting yourself," Dad interjected. "Your brother sees the bigger picture. That coffee shop could be a real investment for our family." "Exactly." Marcus leaned closer. "Family businesses stay in the family. Legacy, Amy. We could be partners. You handle the operations, I handle the business side. Perfect arrangement." The presumption in his voice was breathtaking, but not surprising. Marcus had always claimed whatever caught his interest. My friends, my internship, my opportunities. Now, it was my workplace. "The owner might not be interested in partners," I said carefully. "You don't ask, you don't get." Marcus pulled up a spreadsheet. "I've identified 6 optimization strategies that could increase revenue by 30% within the first quarter." He slid his phone across the table, displaying projected earnings and expansion timelines. "This is what I mean," Mom said proudly. "Marcus thinks strategically. He sees opportunities." Marcus turned serious. "Amy, you're 28, working an hourly job, living in a tiny apartment. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? 10? I'm doing fine." "Fine isn't enough." He leaned back, frustration etched across his face. "I've been patient, but watching you waste your potential while the real opportunity sits untapped, it's frustrating for all of us." Dad nodded. "Your brother is trying to help you build something substantial." Marcus reached into his bag and slid a folder across the table. The cover page read, "Been there, done that, Strategic Acquisition and Optimization Plan by Marcus Chin, MBA *, complete with his headshot in the corner." I flipped through. His research was thorough, his projections ambitious. He'd identified peak hours, average transactions, real estate pricing, and even drafted a customer experience enhancement strategy. "The current owner is leaving money on the table," Marcus said eagerly. "Page 4, lunch menu, evening hours, franchising potential. They're playing it safe, thinking small. But with the right leadership." "So," he pressed, "can you set up a meeting? Maybe this afternoon." "I don't think the owner takes meetings on Sundays." "Tomorrow then." "Actually, forget it, let's just stop by after brunch. You can introduce me." "Marcus, I don't." His voice sharpened. "Stop making excuses. This is a family opportunity. Real money. Real success." Mom leaned in. "Most people would be grateful for this chance, Amy." "I am grateful. But there may be complications." "Ownership structures can be navigated," Marcus cut in. "That's what lawyers are for. The real question is whether you'll help your family succeed, or keep holding us back." Dad set down his coffee. "The least you can do is facilitate an introduction." The pressure was mounting, as always. Marcus identifying the problem, Dad lending weight, Mom softening the edges. Resistance would soon be seen as selfishness. "The owner is very private," I said. "Then it's good they know you. You can vouch for me. Family recommendation matters in business." The server cleared plates. I weighed my choices. Refuse and endure weeks of pressure. Stall, and Marcus would go around me anyway. Or let this play out and end it cleanly. "All right," I said. "We can stop by after brunch." Marcus lit up with triumph. "Perfect. You'll see, Amy. Sometimes you need business training to see opportunities clearly." Mom squeezed my hand. "This is wonderful. Marcus is going to help you build something real." The rest of brunch passed with Marcus outlining his vision, suppliers, equipment upgrades, marketing strategies. By the time the check came, even Dad was offering suggestions about accounting systems. We left Giovani's and drove 6 blocks to the strip mall. The afternoon sun cast long shadows across the lot. Been there, done that. Sat on the corner, its wide windows catching the light. Through the glass, I saw the familiar afternoon scene, customers reading newspapers at small tables, a line of people waiting to order, and the warm lighting that made everything feel cozy and inviting. "Look at that line," Marcus said as we got out of the car. "Even on Sunday afternoon, the volume potential here is incredible." He strode toward the entrance with the confidence of someone who had already decided how this conversation would end. Mom and Dad flanked him like an entourage, their faces bright with anticipation about his latest venture. I followed behind, my stomach tight with the knowledge that this was about to get complicated in ways they couldn't imagine. Marcus pushed open the door to "Been there, done that" with the air of a man inspecting future property. The familiar chime announced our arrival. Several regulars looked up and waved. Behind the counter, Jenny caught my eye and tilted her head toward the back office with a questioning look. "Busy place," Dad observed, scanning the crowded tables. "Exactly what I expected," Marcus said, already pulling out his phone to make notes. "High turnover, consistent traffic, strong local base. Fundamentals are solid." He walked to the counter like he owned the place, studying the menu board with calculation. Jenny eyed him with the polite weariness she reserved for potential troublemakers. "Can I help you?" she asked. "We're here to speak with the owner," Marcus announced. "About business opportunities." Jenny glanced at me, then back at him. "The owner doesn't usually take meetings without an appointment." "I'm Marcus Chin," he said, as if the name carried weight. "This is my sister, Amy. She works here. I'm sure the owner will want to hear my proposal." Marcus had never met a door he didn't assume would open. Jenny nodded diplomatically and disappeared into the back. Marcus immediately began inspecting the space like a real estate appraiser, noting layouts and customer flow. "Seating capacity could be increased by 20% with a better arrangement," he told our parents. "You have such a good eye for these things," Mom said proudly. I lingered near the counter, watching Mrs. Patterson work her crossword in her usual corner, the college students spreading books across the big window table, the young mother with twins near the restroom. This was my community, people I knew, orders I anticipated, conversations I valued. Marcus only saw data points in a revenue spreadsheet. Jenny returned with a small smile. The owner will see you now. Right through that door. Marcus straightened his tie, grabbed his folder, and grinned. This is it, Amy. Time to think big. We walked as a group, Marcus leading with MBA confidence, my parents glowing with pride, me trailing with dread. He knocked once, then pushed the office door open without waiting. Good afternoon, he announced. I'm Marcus Chin, here to discuss acquiring this business. He strode in, hand outstretched, then froze. Behind the desk sat Patricia Williams, the strip mall's property manager, flipping through rental agreements. She looked up at him with polite confusion. I think there's been a misunderstanding, Patricia said. I'm not the business owner. I just handle property management for the landlord. Marcus faltered. Oh, well, can you connect us with the owner? I have a serious acquisition proposal. That would be Ms. Chin, Patricia replied, glancing at her paperwork. Amy Chin. She owns been there, done that through Chin Holdings, LLC. The silence was thunderous. Marcus turned toward me, folder still in hand. Mom and Dad looked between us, bewildered. I'm sorry, Mom said slowly. Did you say Amy owns the coffee shop? Yes, For the past 2 years, Patricia confirmed. She flipped open another folder. And Miss Chin, your brother's rent check bounced again this month. Not for the shop, that one cleared fine. I'm talking about his apartment on Elm Street. He's 3 months behind. She handed me a notice listing Marcus as the tenant in default. Marcus's face cycled through colors. Amy, what is she talking about? I own the coffee shop, I said quietly. And the strip mall. Which makes me your landlord. The folder slipped from his hands, papers scattering across the floor like fallen leaves. That's impossible, he whispered. Not according to the records, Patricia said briskly. Chin Holdings owns this entire property. Your sister has also been covering your rent shortfall for 3 months. Mom collapsed into a chair. Amy, how? We thought you were just an employee. I work here because I own here. I like making coffee and talking to customers. A degree wasn't necessary for doing what I love. Dad's voice cracked. But the money, how? I worked 2 jobs through college, saved every penny, and started the coffee shop. Later, I bought the strip mall when the owner needed to sell quickly. I live simply because I want to, not because I'm struggling. Marcus stood rooted, confidence shattered. But you never said. You let me think. You never asked, I said evenly. You only asked what you could take. Patricia cleared her throat. Miss Chin, about your brother's lease, the 3-month grace period expires next week. Do you want me to begin eviction? Marcus looked at me, desperate. I'll cover the back rent this time, I said. But going forward, Marcus pays his own way. He started, Amy. I raised my hand. If you want to talk business, start by paying rent on time. No shortcuts to partnerships. Mom stared at me, stunned. How much is this all worth? The strip mall appraised at $2.8 million last year, Patricia answered for me. The coffee shop generates about $400,000 annually. Miss Chin also owns 2 other downtown commercial properties. The numbers settled over the room like a storm cloud. Dad sank into a chair. You're a millionaire. I'm someone who worked hard and invested wisely, I corrected. The same person I was this morning, when you told me I needed Marcus to succeed. Marcus finally whispered, why didn't you tell us? Because when I tell you things, they stop being mine. You turn them into projects to manage, optimize, or claim. I gestured at his scattered proposal. I built something I love. You saw it as something to take. Silence pressed in, broken only by the muffled sounds of the cafe beyond the door. Laughter, espresso hissing, Jenny calling orders. My world carried on, unchanged. Patricia gathered Marcus's papers. I'll leave you to your family discussion. Miss Chin, let me know about the lease. She left us alone. Mom's voice softened. We had no idea, Amy. We thought you were just getting by. I am. Very well. Marcus collapsed into the empty chair. I feel like an idiot. You saw what you wanted to see, I said gently. Quiet Amy, who keeps her head down. That was easier than asking what I was really doing. But the apartment, your car, Mom faltered. I like my apartment. I like my car. I don't need luxury to prove success. Unlike some people, I don't need others to see my money. Marcus winced. I picked up a page from his proposal. Your market analysis was strong. Wrong assumptions, but strong. His eyes flickered. Really? Really? You're smart, Marcus. Always have been. But arrogance blinds you. You missed the biggest fact. Your sister doesn't need rescuing. We sat in the small office, the weight of new truth settling. So, what now? Dad finally asked. Now you know, I said. And maybe we figure out how to be a family with accurate information instead of comfortable assumptions. Marcus's voice cracked. Amy, I'm sorry. I thought I was helping. You thought you were taking. There's a difference. Mom reached for my hand. We're proud of you. We should have said that more. You should have asked more, I said softly. I turned to Marcus. Your back rent comes to $4,200. You'll repay it in installments, no interest. But you will repay. I will. I promise. And, if I worked shifts here, learned the business from the ground up, would you ever consider me as a partner? I'd consider making someone who respects what I've built a partner. Whether that's you depends on how much you're willing to learn and change. When I turned back, I saw something new on my family's faces. Not dismissal. Not condescension. Respect. It had taken 28 years and one exploded brunch, but we were finally seeing each other clearly. The sun dipped low over the strip mall, my strip mall, my business, my success, hiding in plain sight all along. For the first time in years, Sunday dinner felt like it might actually be with my family, instead of the roles they had assigned me long ago.